So last week I have just invested into my first off-plan real estate project here in Dubai, and in this video I want to share with you what that experience has been like, which area I decided to invest in, what was the logic behind it, and how you can also go about buying your first property here. Now, I am not a real estate expert, right? I have a business where we help people set up companies here in Dubai and do their accounting, and I come from a content agency and consulting background. So I haven't been in real estate for years and years. This is the first property that I bought, but I know that for me, let's say 1 year ago, it would have been amazing to watch a video from someone like me who just bought their first property and what that experience been like. So I hope it's going to help you, and without any further ado, let's jump right into it. So first of all, why did I buy this apartment? Well, it was simply for investing purposes, right? So I'm not planning on living in this apartment even once it's handed over. I plan to rent it out short term and hopefully get some capital appreciation as well on my investment, but also get a very healthy rental yield on that money. Look, in Dubai, it's very easy to spend money, and most people who come here, as they make more, they end up spending more as well. So they fall into this lifestyle inflation trap. And I'm not going to lie, I also kind of fell into that when I first moved here. But I realized that essentially the reason I came here in the first place was to build wealth, right? It was to protect my future family and my loved ones around me. So me purchasing this first rental property is essentially the first step on this long road to building wealth, to real estate and other investments as well. Because it's one thing to make a lot of money, but it's another thing to preserve it and to keep growing it. So where did I buy exactly? I bought in an area called Expo City, which is basically in the south part of Dubai, and it's a pretty new and up and coming area, but I do think that it's going to perform really well over the next 3, 5, 10 years, and let me tell you why. So first of all, the master plan was actually personally approved by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid, and that is not something he always does, right? He doesn't just go to every single community and go there, personally talk about it and approve it himself. I believe that the leadership here really wants this community to thrive in the future. They are planning to expand the city southward, and Expo is in a perfect position for this expansion. Also in the coming years, the biggest events like GITEX is going to move to Dubai Exhibition Center. It's a huge investment and it's a huge project that they built in Expo City. So all of the events that are happening right now in the World Trade Center are going to pretty much move there. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. And what this means is there is going to be like 600 events every single year happening in Expo City. And on average, each one of them has like 10,000 visitors, right? So that's just 6 million people who will be going to Expo City and will need accommodation there as well. It will essentially become the largest exhibition center in the whole region. Now, I personally bought this apartment for short-term rentals, right? I also do hope that there will be good capital appreciation on it, but the main purpose of it was to get good cash flow from this investment. And the reason why I think it's going to be great is because, first of all, it's perfect for business tourism, right? Everybody is targeting just people who are coming to Dubai on vacation, and probably they are not going to stay in Expo City for that, but all of these people who will be coming for these business events and exhibitions will need somewhere to stay, so you can capture the business tourism perfectly in this area. I purchased the 2-bedroom unit, which is around 1,400 square meters, and that can basically have even up to 6 people sleeping there every single night. So imagine if 6 people split the cost of a 2-bedroom Airbnb, it's going to be still way lower than a nice hotel room, and also they will have more space. And just in general, it's like more flexible than a hotel room, and there is only so many hotel rooms as well in this area, and it's definitely not going to be enough for all the visitors who will be coming for these events. Throughout these major events, the hotel rooms can also go up to even like 5,000 or 6,000 dirhams per night, which is like $1,500 per night. So I do believe that as all the major events and exhibitions are going to be moving to Expo City, the hotel prices are also going to skyrocket, and then you will be able to basically undercut them by a little bit with an Airbnb, have even more people staying there, and just have a little bit of an arbitrage opportunity. So this is why I believe it's going to be great for short-term rentals. But now let's talk about why I think it's also a safe investment, because at the end of the day, in Dubai, there is so many different projects right now. And me personally, I don't even care about having the highest capital appreciation or the highest rental yields. I just want to know that my money is safe there, right? And that it can grow slowly and it's not going to lose a lot of value. So the reason why I think Expo is great after the research I've done and all the people I've talked to is because, first of all, it's a master plan community, right? So what this means is that the land there is not sold to a bunch of different small developers who build different style buildings at different qualities. No, it's one developer that's building that entire community. And second of all, it's also a government owned and government backed developer, right? So they created Expo City developer for just this, and also MR is doing some projects in there, but essentially the whole project is government backed, which is great because the company cannot really fail. And I think also in terms of deadlines, they will be more likely to keep them. Aside from this, also the Al Maktoum International Airport, which is going to be essentially the biggest airport in the world, is going to be very close to it when it's handed over. It's going to hand over only in like 7 years, so it's not super close in terms of a timeline, but it's going to be only a couple minutes away from it. And there is already a metro line that's connecting Expo City with the rest of Dubai, and it's also going to be connected with the airport. So anyone taking the metro from the new airport once it's handed over is going to have their essentially first stop in Expo City. So it's very close to it, very strategic location. But also if someone wants to go from Expo City to Dubai, they can easily do that with very high quality metro line. Aside from this project of Expo City is designed to be a 15-minute city. So essentially it's going to be a small city inside of the big city, which is Dubai. And everything is going to be very close in walkable distance. So it's going to be a community that you don't really need to leave if you don't want to. All the gyms, all the restaurants, all the things that you could need are going to be there in one place. And I do really think as traffic gets worse and worse in Dubai, people are going to be very attracted to these 15-minute cities and communities in the future. They're also planting a lot of greenery in that area. They're making like a little park. And I do genuinely think that that is going to attract a lot of people who come here. They're also handing over Expo Mall pretty shortly, which is going to be an amazing and high quality mall, which again is a huge benefit for the community and also will probably bring quite a lot of visitors to the area. But again, overall, the biggest thing is going to be the Dubai Exhibition Center, which will be the biggest exhibition center in the whole region. And that alone will bring like 5 to 6 million people a year to this community. Okay, now let's talk about the off-plan purchasing process and the payment plan. So obviously the different payment plans can vary a lot based on project to project and developer to developer, but this one was a post-handover payment plan. So I need to essentially pay 60% of the property's value until handover, which is going to be somewhere in next summer. And then after that, I have 2 years to pay off the remaining 40%. So it's like 10% of the property's value every 6 months, which I think is pretty good because I can start renting it out from next summer when it's handed over, and hopefully it will cover a good amount of the payment plan from the actual rental income. Now here's how the process actually looked in terms of buying an off-plan property. So first I needed to submit an EOI, which is an expression of interest about the project launch. And I did that together with a 20% deposit check, right? And I told them which units I really want. And basically the next day when there was the actual launch day, in the morning, I got a call. They told me which unit I got and whether I wanted to take it or not. And I decided that I do want to take it. So essentially from there, they paid the DLD fee, which is the Dubai Land Department fee, 4% on my behalf. The rest went towards the deposit. And after that, I signed a sale and purchase agreement. And that's pretty much it, right? And now the next payment is coming up like next week, which is 30 days after the initial reservation and deposit. So overall, it was a pretty simple process, probably a lot simpler than it is in most countries. And at first I was kind of scared because essentially like you're handing over a check to just developer without you having like a countersigned contract or anything like that. But apparently that's just how things go here in Dubai. I was honestly very surprised by that, like how much trust there is here on the market. But I guess it makes sense because it's a big developer and everything, so they're not going to run away with your money. But to me, that was really surprising coming from Europe, where everything has paperwork and tons of it associated with it. Now, let's talk about short-term rental ROI and what I'm kind of expecting from this investment. So I'm hoping that I will be able to have around a 300 night per year occupancy on this property, as I'm going to be renting it short term, once all the major events move over from World Trade Center to Expo City and the Exhibition Center. And after Airbnb fees, maintenance fees, and everything else, I do expect to get around a 10 to 12% ROI based on property value, and hopefully the actual cash on cash return will be even higher than this, as I still have the post handover payment plan as well. According to some experts and also my friends who are in real estate, they are saying that this is probably going to be one of the best cash flow plays that you can make in Dubai in the current market. So we will see how it goes. As I said, I'm not a real estate expert, I'm not a realtor or anything like that. I'm just a normal guy who wanted to get started with their journey of investing in Dubai, and hopefully it's going to be just the first of many properties to come. Now lastly, let's talk about how long I plan to hold this project. So I do expect the area and also, the airport to be fully completed by around 2032. And I think when the airport is ready and the area is fully developed, I think that's when the peak hype is going to be happening. So that's probably when I will be thinking about potentially exiting from this project. But obviously we will see how it goes. Like with anything, with investments, there is always risk. Things could always go wrong. So we will see how it goes. But I do expect it to go up in value quite a bit by the time that the airport is handed over. And overall, I do think even if there will be a temporary correction or a little bit of a crash in the Dubai property market, I think in the long term it still has huge upside potential, because as long as Europe, Canada, UK, Australia, as long as these countries and these continents keep kind of going to shit, becoming less and less safe, having higher and higher taxes and all these political and financial issues, I do think there will be people coming to the UAE always as kind of a safe haven and as a secondary option. So even though real estate prices are not super cheap in Dubai anymore and they went up a lot, I think as long as you choose the right projects and you actually have thought, I think in the long term you can still do really well with it. Now, if you do also want to open up a company in Dubai and move here, then check the first link in the description down below for my company Peak Zone, where you can schedule a free consultation. And if you're interested in buying property or investing the right way, I can also connect you with my real estate agents. So feel free to click the links in the description down below if you want some help with that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you found this video interesting, and I will see you in the next one.